smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back with you right here on SportsGrid. It is CFT Live. Michigan, Washington, the national championship game. Kevin Walsh, Ben Stevens, and Joe Lisi. Critical 3rd and 5 picked up by Washington. Went to the backup running back there in the passing. That's a little swing pass there. Yeah. Tackled for what would have been short.
Yeah, he got
broke the tackle. Now they have crossed through midfield here, this Washington offense. And Joe, I will say, what you mentioned, and I guess this is kind of we were debating something but somehow not disagreeing. An incomplete pass there for Penix. You were saying that they're going to run tempo. Like, they don't actually, seconds per play. You saw it there. They got to the line quickly, and then the play clock went down to about 5 or 4 there. So they're going to get to the line quick and then really take their time to digest the defense.
And that forces Michigan not to substitute. Dylan Johnson with a bad wheel right now. So
yeah,
he didn't look good. He's out.
He didn't look good.
No.
Already being looked at by the athletic training staff for Washington. Does not appear to be overly optimistic based on what we can see on the game broadcast. Selfishly, that would be good for my Tybo Rogers over 20.5 rushing yards. But for Washington's team outlook, obviously a guy that scored twice in the Sugar Bowl against Texas.
Sorry to cut you off, but that is twice that this team has ran the football on 2nd and long. I'm not sure what team they think they're playing. I'm not sure who they think they are themselves. But that is not the recipe here if you are the Washington Huskies.
You know what was really interesting, if you remember, a couple of times Washington would get into Texas's red area in the Sugar Bowl, at least within the 30 or 25-yard line. And for an aggressive offensive attack that the Huskies are, Kalen DeBoer would call a couple of runs, 2 or 3 consecutive run plays, when it looked as though they had an opportunity to score. And you have the nation's leading passer in Michael Penix Jr., who threw for 4,218 yards through the Pac-12 championship game and then set CFP history, the 3rd ever quarterback to throw for 400 yards in a college football playoff semifinal game, 430 against the Longhorns, the 3rd most ever in any CFP game, semifinal or national championship against Texas. That is still the offensive philosophy for this Washington side, and I expect to see that more throughout this football game. An interesting run play, some yellow laundry on the field, a flag. Wasn't sure what it was as Washington now into Michigan territory.
Did you do the radio audience?
I did not know.
Radio's in the mix. We'd love to have you. Sirius XM Channel 159 all across the SportsGrid network with CFT Live's coverage of the national championship game between Michigan and Washington. I believe, just checking here, it was a timeout called to prevent a flag there. So it will be 2nd and 10. I don't even think the play technically counted there. But, Joe, as somebody here who needs Washington offense in a big way and obviously to win the game, a 2nd and 7 run that gained 2, and that was going to be a 2nd and 10 run that was also going to pick up 2. I mean, I just hate that play calling. Now, I actually love it, but if you're on Washington, I don't like that at all.
No, it's not, unless he goes for it on 4th down. Unless they think they have 4 downs, they're in the 41, 42-yard line. They get to the 38, 39. I mean, you're going to kick a long field goal. Maybe he opts to have his offense on the field. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, they haven't been as aggressive early on, but you have the better quarterback technically. Michael Penix looks sharp early on. Yeah. Can they take a deep shot is the biggest question.
And they haven't attempted one yet. But again, I don't know how many are going to exactly be there for them. Look, I don't want to get in any arguments about Jalen Milroe. But what Milroe does is throw the deep ball. So that is at minimum something that Michigan was well prepped for last week, and they obviously, again, did the longest completion that they allowed was, what did I tweet? Because I tweeted out, was it 42 and a half, the Milroe long completion prop? I mean, the longest completion they allowed in the game was 29. Yeah. So they are going to tell Penix, hey, listen, these, wide receiver screens and passes into the flat, you're going to have to beat us with those. And they almost, by the way, Michigan got off the field. They have to tackle here, though, because they missed an opportunity.
Yeah, Tybo Rogers, by the way, 11 yards on that first reception that did extend the drive for Washington. On that first run for Dylan Johnson, We are seeing a replay review at the moment that does not look good for the status of that injured left leg. On the sideline, clearly in a bit of pain. We will update what his status is. 1 carry for 6 yards on the opening offensive play for the Huskies. Michael Penix Jr., efficient in this football game to start, 3 of 4 for 25 yards. Again, a large passing yards prop that Michigan has not allowed anybody to even really flirt with this year at 292 and a half. Another short, quick screenplay for Washington. I believe that was to Roma Dunze. That will continue moving the sticks for Washington, now inside Michigan's 30-yard line.
23.5 was the Michael Penix completions prop, Joe.
Was that there? I didn't. No, that was about a.
No, it's
in
completions.
terms of overall numbers. Yeah.
I mean, if he throws bubble screens like that, he's going to blow through that number. They're getting that defense running sideline to sideline, and then there's another one. Oof. He's going. Everything is short to intermediate right now. Once they get that defense running sideline to sideline, then they'll most likely hit him over the top with the post patterns and deep seams. But I like the game plan. They're being patient. And
they have to be, I'm telling you.
You can see they're playing deep triples right there in terms of how they're going back there. Look for
a
cover 3 type play.
Look for Penix here on third. It's a second and 10. If he gets into a third down, he might tuck it and run here because those guys were playing so off.
Yeah.
In regards to the secondary, there's running lanes there for Penix.
And Dylan Johnson back on the field right now on this second and 10 for Washington. We're already under 7 minutes here in this first quarter. And we've had 2 drives in the football game.
Wow, nice block.
I believe that was a run to Jalen McMillan.
That's a late hit.
That's what I was hoping
but
for.
It didn't come out of his hands for
this.
a little pop pass.
It's go like this instead of this.
I mean, it would be interesting to see how Kalen DeBoer and this Washington offense utilize Dylan Johnson in this football game, if only to be a spy. Here he was in the game and tried to hit a seal block, really, for Jalen McMillan and got blown up himself and did not look good, really getting out to the edge, a little bit hobbled in terms of how he was able to try to set the edge and did not really do so for Jalen McMillan, despite an 8-9 yard carry for the Huskies. Now into the red zone of Michigan for the first time in this football game.
Yeah, I want to see if Penix takes it and runs here. He did it in the other game against Texas. Got the first down, though. I mean, this is a long drive. This is a long drive right now. This is good.
Just an update. Go ahead, please.
But if you're Washington, Joe.
You got to like this.
Oh, I do. Trust me. You saw that first drive. Hold on. Are you running your defense back out there? You know what I mean? You're saying it's a long drive for Washington, right?
Right.
If you're Washington, you're saying, we need to take our time.
Yeah,
because our defense could be in for a long night on that side of the field.
Exactly. You want to get it to the fourth quarter. I don't agree with that call. I mean, the kid's hobbled. You don't give him, if anything, if you want to give him the ball and he's got a hurt knee or he's a little banged, get him out in space on a screen pass where at least he has some momentum.
Just a couple of quick live odds updates. 57.5 is the total. Not a ton of movement there. 6.5 now in favor of Michigan. Of course, they are covering that live number with Washington on the doorstep. If they don't get the end zone, a Grady Gross field goal for the kicker prop. Come on now, baby. Over 6.5 points.
Second and goal. We will likely be missing a score here, but we'll break that down and check in with the live odds after this quick commercial break.
New sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. We're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix to over 309 and a half.
Let's shop around. Let's get active, and let's get the best of the numbers here, Joe.
I believe if Michigan in this ballgame can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ballgame.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms tonight. This is it.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back,
The irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time. Only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Perfect timing, CFT Live. We're with you for the national championship game between Michigan and Washington. Timeout called by UW to avoid a delay of game. It is about, I would say, 3rd and 8. It's a goal-to-go situation here. Any Washington touchdown scores you're rooting on? McMillan, right?
And Polk.
And Polk. Penix at rushing.
Yeah.
You have McMillan or just Polk?
I think I just have Jalen Polk
Okay.
at plus 220.
Love to see him tuck it and run. Tuck it and run,
It's
guys.
certainly a throwing situation here with 4:04 remaining in the first quarter. I know, Ben, you have a kicker prop for Washington as well, so an incomplete pass would not be the worst thing you've ever seen. As somebody on the under, I'm glad with how long the drive is taken, but when you're at 100% touchdown rate on drives, that's not necessarily the most ideal scenario.
Run it.
High ball there from Michael Penix. He was looking towards Romadunze, who we mentioned has not scored in consecutive games. Now Pac-12 championship and then that semifinal against Texas. 4th and goal. Obvious kicking situation, fellas?
I don't know. It looked like they were staying out there. It's DeBoer.
I don't think they would or they should. You take points to end out your opening offensive possession. The only thing that would maybe be a part of that evaluation is the fact that we have about 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in this opening quarter. A lot of time is already drained off, but you take the points here if you're Washington to pay off the opening offensive drive. And we hope for Grady Gross's sake this goes through the uprights and we
it just sneaks in.
God, Grady, don't do that to me, brother. But that's 3.
All right.
We need 7 to go over 6.5 points for that kicking prop tonight.
So I would say, I wonder if they would have been interested in trying to get them to jump. I think that tells me they weren't going for it on 4th and 3, that they didn't even bother. Because you wouldn't have mind making it a 30-yarder, though he might have missed it if it was a 30-yarder. 7-3.
I'll picture them to score.
I'm just 7-3. We're under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 7.5 live spread in favor of the Wolverines. 54.5 live total. First half total, do you think it needs another score to get there? I would say it does. I would probably guess 10.5.
Team total?
No. Full first quarter total.
First quarter total.
I would imagine
28.5 was the first half total.
So it's going to need more points.
Yeah.
You only have 4 minutes to go, and it's Michigan who, unless they hit another explosive run, broken play, Washington's offense, if in an ideal world for Michigan, will not be out there until the second quarter.
No, for sure.
The incredible thing is that Washington drive took even longer than the Michigan drive. 6:18 for Washington there. So we are going to flirt with burning a full quarter before we even get to the fourth possession of this game.
Yeah, which is great.
Yes, but I'll ask you, as somebody who was hoping, well, it's a weird thing. You weren't hoping for a slow start, but if it did come, you said you'd be interested in a total. What do you make of the live 54.5, Joe?
Nah, see, because 54.5 still to me seems a little bit high. But again, is Michigan going to have chunk plays and Washington's methodically going to work down the field? Wow, what happened?
They're hanging live props. They didn't do this at all in the semifinal, so this is actually incredible. J.J. McCarthy is at -4 rushing yards. He was sacked. It's a 14.5 live number. Blake Corum is actually dropped down to 97.5. They are hanging Donovan Edwards alts, but not straights. 70-plus is
66.5 for Edwards.
Okay, for me it's locked. Thank you very much.
66.
70-plus -105. You can get him for 100-plus at +360. Passing prop, Michael Penix Jr. is at 41. It's 282.5. J.J. McCarthy at 18 is at 172.5. The J.J. under is even a little interesting watching that opening drive there.
14.5 rushing?
I'm good.
He's got -4 rushing.
Yes, he does.
So he needs
and I don't know how many designed runs they're going to call for him because they didn't call them last week at all against Alabama, is my concern.
I know. What does Penix do?
Roma Dunze's a right on target at 87.5. McMillan's at a 61.5 prop here. Polk down to 42.5. Cornelius Johnson has 18. He's up to 46.5. Dropping number on Roman Wilson, 35.5. By the way, what is exciting about this is a full NFL style prop card.
Yeah.
So you can not only go out there and bet your new updated numbers, but what you can do is grab alts. And alts at more extended prices than you would have anticipated, right?
Right.
The Penix number dropping after the opening drive, going for 41 yards on an opening drive for Penix is not bad at all.
No.
So why do they drop it? I think in a game they're seeing this clock bleed.
Not only that, every throw was short to intermediate.
Yes.
Sideline to say he didn't take a deep shot. He did in the end zone, but that was it. Outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, they were only really 9-10 yards away. I do find it interesting, though, and I think it has more to do with the clock and just the available amount of time. 3:56 here in the opening quarter, of course. To drop that number by 9 yards, now down by a full 10 yards, is, by the way, both kickoffs that Michigan has received, they have not taken a touchback and have not cleared the 15-yard line to get out of the end zone. 7-3 the lead for Michigan. By the way, we did this during the CFP semifinal in the Sugar Bowl, that nightcap between Texas and Washington. First play of that next possession for whatever team was next out on the football field. And for Michigan to run the ball for a yard or more, it's -160.
Yeah, that's about right. I certainly think it makes a lot of sense.
You go with the hot hand. Feed the beast. Feed Edwards.
So actually, and it's a good point to wrap around to that, but the way this game started, Quorum, Mullings, Mullings, and then Edwards hits a home run. Now, the Edwards home run, by the way, was a bit of a broken play.
Yeah.
He made a man miss, and then instead of a gain of maybe 2, a loss of 2, turned that into a 41-yard rushing touchdown.
He saw it, and he hit the hole.
Well, he looked like the kid from last year that we basically haven't seen all season long.
I was going to make the same exact point. It has been so fascinating to see Donovan Edwards. And you guys might be saying, okay, last year when Blake Corum was injured in the Illinois game, he took over the lion's share of the production for Michigan. No. In fact, he was the leading rusher in a Penn State game where Michigan ran for more than 400 yards, and Blake Corum still had 28 rush attempts, more than Donovan Edwards in that football game. Both guys were sensational, time in and time out on the football field as J.J. McCarthy finds Roman Wilson for a big strike down the field. I wonder what the live 172.5 looks like right now is Roman Wilson, who was that leading receiver for the Maize and Blue, by the way, in the Rose Bowl, 73 yards.
Nice ball, though. That was a really nice ball. And new formation. They went out almost like a hybrid high formation, and he hits him right over the middle. It was like a one-man route, too.
Really good route.
That's the thing.
I haven't been able to get the yardage here yet.
Really good throw.
That is, though, what I think that you like there from Moore is not being predictable, because I think a lot of people have said, all right, 2nd and 7, let's run it again, pick up another 4 yards, and make this easy on ourselves. See? I'll tell you this right now. That's the last first down throw of the game.
Listen, Samaj Morgan, the freshman for Michigan, was the intended target. Now, he was the guy that struggled to field a couple of punts in the Rose Bowl against Alabama. There seemed to be a clear miscommunication between what J.J. McCarthy expected him to do, to take that route to the outside, and where he cut that route
37 yards, by the way, for
37
Roman
yards on that
Wilson.
play to Roman Wilson.
Nice.
So it brings up a 2nd and long.
His number was 48.
Donovan Edwards.
Oh,
Come on now.
Get the beast involved.
And this is
they're going jumbo.
Don't be afraid to run it here. Don't be
heavy
afraid.
run formation, and Donovan
Hemby,
Edwards.
he's gone.
He goes
the
again.
man is gone. Go. Donovan Edwards to the house. 2 tutties. We hit it. 2 tutties. We hit it. I said it.
He's
10-1. Let's go.
46-yard rushing touchdown.
How about that?
It's Donovan Edwards.
We hit everything. Oh, I love it. Hemby, Roman Hemby.
Why are you talking about Maryland?
I just had to say that.
How do you do it?
That is
what is your brain like? If I could be inside that beautiful mind.
Human algo, the computer between the left and the right ear. That's it.
13.5 is the live spread. 61.5 is the live total. Donovan Edwards, again, shout out my boy. I told you can have all the alts. I just want my 50.5 rushing plus this season.
The vision. The cutback lane twice when Donovan Edwards has gotten into the middle of the offensive line of scrimmage and found a route elsewhere. He has 2 carries for 87 yards, 41 yards to the house on the opening offensive possession for Michigan, 46 yards to the house here in the second drive for the Wolverines. How good was that Washington rush defense?
Yeah. They're terrible. They're horrible.
And listen, you can say it now because it's working out, but my gosh, this run defense is bad. We'll be right back, CFT.
Oh, goodness.
New sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix Jr. over 309.5.
Let's shop around. Let's get active, and let's get the best of the numbers here, Joe.
I believe if Michigan in this ballgame can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ballgame.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms today. This is it.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time. Only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back right here on SportsGrid, CFT Live's coverage of Michigan-Washington. What a great job. So Washington just punted. There's 21 seconds left in the quarter. The fact that they didn't just go to commercial, come back, one play, go to commercial.
Beautiful.
I mean, that is incredible.
That's a nice look there.
By the way,
antithesis of the Rose Bowl.
Donovan Edwards now has the second and third longest touchdown runs in CFP history. But remember the long touchdown prop?
50
and a half. That's what, like, imagine you have two 40-yard touchdown
but
runs.
I thought we could get there with the rushing attack.
And you were correct, but it's a lot.
Wasn't enough,
100%. 14-3. Michael Penix had Jalen McMillan. He needed to make a man miss. He just couldn't.
Corum?
I mean, Corum is out of a cannon now himself.
Oh.
He's going to flirt with the distance.
Oh, he might go.
He picks up around 8.
Got to be long.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. You made a lot of money on Donovan Edwards. You deciding to pick a fight with me.
I didn't pick a fight
Hold
with
on.
you.
Ben? You deciding to pick a fight with me to defend maybe the worst rush defense in the history of college football?
Worst.
Is that not what they are?
They're worse than Colorado was last year.
I mean, they're getting exposed right now.
No. Look, they're not the worst defense ever, but this is – I mean, they're going to be averaging at the end of this
12 yards a carry, right?
No, before that, it was 14. It's now 19.3 yards per carry. Blake
And
Corum
they're not going to stop.
on a 59-yard run, which hits the long rush prop of 50
that was
plus.
59?
Yes.
It seemed like 59.
Quarter comes to a close.
What was that price?
Decent, I don't remember. Better than 3-1, I believe.
Was it really? Oh.
17.5 live spread, 61.5 live total. When we come back, Michigan will have the ball deep in Washington territory.
To start off the second quarter, Michigan to look to take an 18-point lead, potentially up 14-3 right now, which again ties into what you said, Kev, the largest lead of this football game, over under 17.5 points. If you are Washington, how are you feeling right now, Joe?
I think even if you got to put in, and if I was Washington, I'm down 21-3, right? I'm pushing tempo. I want to get this game at least 21-13 by half. Why? Because I get the ball out of the second half with the potential to maybe cut it to 4 or even tie it up with a 2-point conversion. That has to be the mindset. The defense right now, I got to hold Michigan to a field goal. Somehow, some way.
Holding penalty?
You got to take a shot. If they're doing it with the rushing attack, which we thought could be a concern, you got to take some run blitzes. You got to get McCarthy into a long third down here.
They do. Michigan has ran 4 pass plays, 9 run plays. One of those was a sack, okay? So they have 4 plays of 37-plus yards. One with the Roman Wilson catch, a 59-yard run for Corum, and 2 40-yard runs for Donovan Edwards.
Right, and if it's going to take Penix, 8 minutes to score? That's the way it seems right now.
It absolutely does.
So you're going to have to – they're going to have to change up things. I would go tempo.
I can't. I cannot put my – to be honest with you, and it's probably not realistic, at the end of this Washington-Michigan drive, if I'm Washington, I'm going to try and see if I can take up the rest of the quarter. I'm going to call up Munkin and every Army, Navy, and Air Force head coach of years past and ask them, what's the slowest possible way for us to move the football down the field? Their defense
they might have that wrinkle, to be honest with you.
Their defense at this moment is dead to rights.
No, the front seven's getting abused.
So let's talk about a couple of live lines here.
God.
What do you think Darius Taylor would have?
Over under 233.5.
What would
61.5 is that total.
Anthony Grant.
61.5 is that total right now.
For the game.
Yeah. Is there any interest knowing that Washington needs to come back in this football game?
Well, yes. I still lean to the under because, again, from what I've seen, it's not the same Washington offense having great success. It's Michigan running the football, getting chunk plays, and they're working down the field. So Michigan is playing great defensively. Do you believe, because right now I don't, Washington can get chunk plays right now?
I think they will.
I think they can
There
get.
hasn't been enough offensively really to judge that they can't at this moment.
They're going to have to get
how
him.
great of a defense Michigan is. I do want to say this quickly.
Yeah.
8-1 is that live money line price, plus 800 on Washington.
To win it?
To win the national championship outright.
I think you let the drive play out.
So do you think if they do settle for a field goal, take a 2-touchdown lead, 17-3, it gets worse than this?
No. I think if they score a
touchdown.
I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, so I think it'll be stronger with a touchdown and shorter with the field goal.
Certainly going to sprinkle.
But I wouldn't touch it until drives end.
I also did that so many times last year on TCU and just never even saw a live number.
I'm not going to run up the score. Part of the reason I am doing it, though, is because Lisi's having a good game. That's basically their best-case scenario, is what should have been a loss for 3 was only a gain of 3.
Yeah.
I mean, the Washington run defense at this point in time right now is praying to God that Michigan gets greedy and throws the football. That's right now. That's what they're hoping.
They got to hope. They got to take shots. They have to utilize blitzes. They have to get pressure on the run game. And you could send everybody. I mean, here's the thing. He's only thrown it, 4 times?
Yeah. 4 times in this game.
That's,
He completed 3 of the 4 as well.
Yeah, but I mean.
No, I get it. I mean. But
is that Mullings?
That's Mullings. Khalil Mullings.
So here you go. You got a third
couple
down.
Of yards there as well.
What do you
this
do
is a
here?
Big play.
Run the ball.
For Washington. Run the ball.
Would you run the ball?
For sure. Yes, I would, because, again, you're getting 3 yards a pop right now on your worst run plays. And you have said this numerous times, Joe, all year long here on College Football Today, dating back to the Penn State game. It is imperative for teams, given how Michigan wants to play and orchestrate their offense, to get out in front of the Wolverines. Washington is doing the opposite of that, down by 11 points already. This plays to Michigan's hand. This is exactly where they want you. And why not run the football? See if you can pick up 4. Michigan will have to burn a timeout as the play clock was coming down. See if you can pick up 4. And worst case scenario, you get a field goal here and you're up by 2 touchdowns.
Well, here's the other question. If they get 3 and it's
going.
a 4th, you got it. You got to go, right?
Here's someone's. I don't remember who. This is known though, right? It was 4th and 1, and you're a Washington backer. Do you want the field goal unit to walk out there, or do you want the offense to stay on the field?
Unit.
So you go for it every time.
100%.
And in fact, I'd consider it on 4th and 4, which is why, if I wasn't going to just straight hand off Corum, Edwards, whomever, I don't mind a read option, J.J. McCarthy, because right now, a vulnerable defense like this might bite hard, and J.J. might walk into the end zone.
Which is live touchdown.
They might lock it, though, when they get this close.
Yeah.
At times, they usually do lock those up, and they have at the moment.
Isn't it interesting also that not only has Donovan Edwards only had 2 carries, I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 plays he has even been
on the field,
between the white lines on the football field. Because they've had Khalil Mullings out there for a couple of runs.
He has
and
more
he's even been out there when he's just been there.
Yeah.
And Donovan Edwards goes out there for 2 plays. They run it each of those 2 times. He has 41 and 46 for the house, 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. Listen, the alt numbers on Donovan Edwards with how talented he is, kind of crazy given the output he has had all season long and even in the Rose Bowl. When you told me 2 touchdowns, I looked at that beautiful mind and I said, human algo, Joe Po, Joe Mo, I don't care. That's ridiculous. And the fact that it hits astounds me every time.
Look, I think it's a great shot, but I will tell you this, and it's not taking any credit away. That's the only damn way he's getting in the end zone, though.
Yeah.
He gets bopped out the 5-yard line. I'll tell you this right now. He might as well go sit up in the skybox, whoever's calling plays, because Clay Corum's running them in when they get in that area.
You know what really brought me to, really go over the top? I knew that they had to run the football and the way Texas had success.
Yeah.
But I watched the press conference this week, and somebody said, what do you think about your lack of success this year?
I watched the same clip.
And I said, you know what? Kid's going to get motivated. Kid's going to eat. And I said, let me take a look at his number. And I said, it was at the time, it was 14.5 receiving, 25.5 on the ground game. I said, you know what? I'll just wait. I want to digest more info. I want to see where everybody's at. And then and I'm not talking about this poll, just Joe Poe.
Was Donovan Edwards' answer so Joe Lisi can eat in the final college football game of 2023?
Joe Lisi saw the props. I immediately went to the touchdown scores, and I saw the prices, and he was plus 185, and I said, they have him priced in the middle. I said, but I want him for 2, and it just spoke to me.
Sometimes. Clairvoyant in a way.
Yeah, look, again, it's obviously worked incredibly.
What are we looking for? If Washington does score, you think it's the ground attack, or you think it's? I still think Penix could hit pay dirt.
So the interesting thing is, you can't completely abandon your offensive game plan, right? You can't just start chucking it all over the yard. Obviously,
that'll be the
but
question.
Washington wants to incorporate everything through the air. It shouldn't be a surprise to see them come out and throw on their first passing down or their first 3 downs on a
RPO.
new set of downs here. Michigan, we are back into action in Houston, though, on this 3rd and 4.
Oh,
I really hate that play call.
And that's what we talked about.
And here comes conservative Jim. That field goal unit's on the field. I promise you that.
And that's Jabbar Muhammad making a hell of a play.
I
don't see how that's the
best player on the defense right now. No? You don't like him?
We didn't even have – no, I love Jabbar Muhammad. I think Braylon Trice and him are their two outstanding playmakers. Not even the RPO option. Not even a look in play quorum.
I mean, that is. And they took. Who took the timeout? Was it Michigan?
Yeah,
Michigan. They had to.
They took the timeout for that play. They didn't like the look.
A straight drop back with the way this game is played out. I mean, that's a very, very bad play call. Yeah. Now the field goal sneaks in again. I mean, listen, enough. All right, enough. The sneaking in field goals. Some of us are rooting it on. It is what it is. 59.5 live total. Michigan lays 15.5. I like that if you are a Washington backer.
What is it?
6 plus 630 money line. I know you two greedy Husky backers will be betting that. But plus 15.5, a number you are covering with the football, getting the football to start the second half. You go touchdown here, you're down 7. You have Michigan would need the ball twice to go up on it, and you know you have a stop coming at half. Plus 15.5 is a wise bet. You can chase the money line again. I know you both love this team. That's fine. I don't like them as much. In fact, I hate both these teams. We should be watching Bama, Texas, but that's only me who's upset about it.
Now, we had a Texas first half number in the Sugar Bowl against Washington.
Yeah.
Maybe we examine that during the commercial break and see if we can get the SportsGrid audience with us for the final 11 minutes of this first half.
We'll keep breaking it down here. We are taking a quick break, though. We'll see how Michael Penix in Washington respond on CFT Live.
New sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game, he'll be the division
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix to over 309.5.
Let's shop around. Let's get active, and let's get the best of the numbers here. So
I believe if Michigan in this ball game can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ball game.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms today. This is it.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony. I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time. Only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
CFT Live, we're happy to have you. Michael Penix is looking to make a man miss as this Washington offense is still struggling, Ben. It's a 3rd and 14. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just going to say I noticed, and I didn't see it. He ran for 5 yards.
Yes.
All right, so that's good. He's over his
I told you when that happened. You were too focused about other things.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Can't take a sack, though.
No, I need him.
And that was very close. Michael Penix Jr., great at manipulating the pocket to help out his outstanding Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. But Michigan getting some pressure. Now you're in a situation where you're behind the sticks, 3rd and 14 near midfield, where you need to start keeping the ball in your possession. Michigan has scored on all 3 of its offensive drives to begin this game.
Do you call a 2-down play here? You never go for it on 4th and 14 and say, hey, you know what? I only need 10 yards.
What is happening? Another flag on Washington?
3rd and 19.
If I'm Washington, man, first thing I do is I just make sure that clock keeps ticking. I mean, tick. I mean, really, it's so funny, though. This live total keeps jumping up. I'm not going to,
Well, because they feel
they keep scoring.
Well, Michigan keeps scoring, which means that Penix is going to have to throw more. More.
But everything about this game right now makes me feel good about my under. And again,
Sure. Oh, double flinch.
Rushing attack for Washington is thrown out the window now, right?
I mean, it should be to some degree.
And listen, Washington was always going to be pass first. They are always going to start with the pass behind Michael Penix Jr. It's unfortunate for this offensive game plan, whatever the scheme was, whatever the thought was under Kalen DeBoer, Michael Penix Jr., that they've had to throw a lot of it out there. A big pickup of double digits right there to get in to Michigan territory. I really hope that was Jalen Polk. It was Jalen McMillan, Kevin. A great read by you, my brother.
How many?
It looks like Washington. We'll look that up, but it looks like Washington is contemplating going
12.
4th and 7. This shows the sense of urgency right now.
Gain of 12.
How do you feel about the decision whether it works or not?
I feel good about it. I mean, your defense is
even the analytics say go for. I'd say don't go for it. Oh wow,
this is.
I think I might punt, but I'm not a coward. I don't mind
I
it.
think you go.
Don't be afraid of him running if nothing's
He's not
there.
running the touchdown.
Well, they're setting up. Get the touchdown.
They did snap it.
4 though. Only bring 4
wide open. Oh, wide open.
Wow.
Bro, what are you?
So a miscommunication between one of the best quarterback-wide receiver duos in college football.
Stop running.
Michael Penix and Rome Odunze. I would say, and again, we'll see the replay, Ben, but the ball was not thrown in the direction that he was running more than anything there. But that was a touchdown pass. That was not just the first down that was missed, folks. That was a touchdown, folks. That was missed there by Penix. And
he's wide open, Michael.
That's Michael Penix Jr.'s fault.
I don't know. Rome turns out.
I mean, maybe turn the right way, but why are you
he's
bending
the
it?
seam. Yeah, okay. So there was a miscommunication.
Rome did a spin, right? Like I remember this from my baseball days. He spun wrong. It's not a good job getting it to the cutoff man, but I can't even keep a straight face.
I know, run it.
Right,
that's it.
Listen, I had Washington plus 14.5 in the first half at minus.
They're still covering.
I know they're still covering, but that's a game changer.
Well, yeah, I mean, that basically wins the win.
You know when you start to realize that things are not going to work out the way you saw pregame?
Well, it's
starting to feel that way.
Let's say they kick a field goal, they're not out of it. I mean, in my mind,
that was a turnover on downs, though.
I understand. I'm talking
the ball's
field goal
47.
Michigan.
But now Michigan.
I'm saying Michigan. They got to hold them to a field goal. In my mind, that's 20-3.
You're right. That is probably the best case scenario for a Washington defense that has been exposed in the Wolverines' first 3 offensive possessions.
If you get 20-10 at the half, right, and Washington, that's not bad. You're getting the ball coming out of the half. You got to make adjustments, though.
Can you just see if, because I don't know if it's the laptop, are you getting props live options on the phone? Because those are, on the phone?
Yeah, in New Jersey, not in Indiana. But
right here, look. Maybe it's pulling up New York.
Yeah, but okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, that was so convenient when it was not doing that, so I could give people.
Aduzze, is it? Who do you need?
Oh, I'm not worried about myself. I want to let people know kind of what some of the key numbers are.
All right, so Aduzze is 86.5 receiving.
I mean, they are going to have
He's
to
got
continue
26.
to throw the football.
McMillan is 67.5.
I like that.
He's at a quarter. Polk, 15 yards. He's got 51.5. Honestly, I would take every receiver right now on Washington.
What's the Penix prop?
Penix right now in game 292 and a hook.
That's his pregame number.
Yep.
7-11 for 68 yards right now for Michael Penix Jr. But those 45 yards that were left out there with Rome Odunze coming.
What do you think of the live Penix number?
Blake Corum, 155 rushing yards. Edwards, 117 and a half.
Good gracious.
What
You
is
need Donovan
Corum at?
Edwards to get that in the next, 3 rushing attempts.
Yes,
he
he
has.
Edwards has 87. Corum 76.
I don't like that Corum bet at all. I think it's an atrocious number.
I mean, Washington right now is allowing 16.4 yards per carry.
If you think Donovan Edwards could get to $1.75, it's 7-1.
I don't like that bet because he's not giving you the workload currently.
Correct.
I think that's a little unfair.
I'm just saying, for people that missed the boat pre-kick.
I hear you.
I'm just saying, I mean, right now, minus 450 for 100, minus 200 for $1.10, and this is Edwards, 125. It's plus 110. There's no value there.
No, I totally agree. In fact, I mean, I think you could make a decent argument on his live under, Donovan Edwards. I'm not going to play it because the kid's averaging 40 yards a
You got
rush.
to catch that. You got it. I know, but I know it's a.
I think that's on Penix. Unless, now again, the funny thing is, I think it's a little on Penix, but Rome also did kind of turn around instead of just flipping the head.
So, again, I'm not going to call myself a football savant. I only played quarterback at the high school level. But what you are taught, even at the bare minimum of that, is your wide receiver runs to the outward boundary, and you always throw him to the sideline. And Rome was wide open, so he kept running up the seam because there was nothing but green grass in front of him. Who can really fault him, but Penix probably thought he had an out route or at least threw him to the boundary. Regardless, they were having a conversation afterward whose fault it was. The record will show a turnover on downs in what was a glorious opportunity against the second-best passing defense in the country. We haven't seen many downfield shots from this Washington team so far. That was by far their best opportunity.
Was that Edwards?
No, I think that was
No, that was Blake Corum.
Edwards is in there. Give it to the Rock.
On a run.
Just give it to him. Let him blow through
Every
100.
time Donovan Edwards has been on the field, he has carried the football a play.
Oh, my gosh.
Throw it to him.
Yeah, that's what I was
Throw
looking
it to
for.
him. He's open.
I actually thought, as we got an incomplete pass.
That was another dot by J.J. McCarthy, and I believe Colston Loveland, the tight end for Michigan, was targeted.
Yes, but why are you so happy about that?
I wanted him to catch that.
That was
over 35.
that was one of the most devious, folks, you don't even understand.
More
my
of
life.
a self-deprecating.
Edwards.
Oh, okay.
You get him into the flat.
Edwards is thoroughly covered by whatever
open.
Up there.
I will say this: he could have hit him in an immediate check down. He extended the play.
Huge play in this football.
No doubt about it. A 3rd and 10
Edwards
here.
is in there on 3rd down. Check down. Need him over 14 and a half. That's a big say. Well, that was not what you wanted.
No, it's not. And I think, and that's big for Washington, big for the first half, 14 and a half.
Needed it.
But here's where that goes wrong. And I didn't get the chance to say this. They should have ran the ball on first and second down.
Why not?
Because 3rd down gets predictable.
Right.
And that is a big problem. Yeah. And I'll tell you, man, I don't know what they're going to do with J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
But I would continuously allow this rush attack to take things through and take this team through the night here.
I agree. And if you're Washington, I want an 8-minute drive to close this at 17.
Touchback.
17-10.
What a good Big Ten punt.
17-10.
I knew exactly what that was toward.
17-10. Take it into the locker room. You know you have an opportunity to tie it.
I mean, that was as good of a possession for Michigan offensively as Washington could ask for on defense. Huge.
You're averaging, 14 yards per rush?
Now 15.
Okay. And you only give your offensive line one opportunity?
So here's where I think this is interesting. 13.5 is your live spread, right? 9:36 remains. Washington could very easily take up 7 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Michigan's offense does not at the moment built to go score quick.
No.
I know they have had quick scores, but listen, if there's 2 minutes left and they hand the football off and hit another 40-yard run, then Washington shouldn't come out for the second half.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy hit 137-yard pass. Outside of that, he is 2 for 6 for 18 yards. Mm-hmm. That would be 3 yards per pass attempt. You cannot remove the fact that he hit a 37-yard pass, but the pass attack right now is not doing anything. Mm-hmm. That's not all JJ's fault. The ball to Loveland, as you mentioned, was great. It was just a great play by the DB that was able to make a stop there. They've not used any of the wide receivers in the past game. Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson have all 3 of the receptions so far.
Yeah.
But why I bring up the 13.5 is Washington has a chance to score here and then does start the second half with the football, if you don't think Michigan is going to be able to score before the half's over, which is an incredibly reasonable thought, now the plus 430 money line does make more sense to me, because I see a world where the next dangerous Michigan offensive possession, we're talking about a tie game, maybe a one-possession game.
Really good point by you, Kevin, how this game path could go through the remainder of this opening half. I do want to make this point as well. J.J. McCarthy has 55 yards overall in this football game. His pregame prop was 199 in a hook. What would you expect his live prop to be with 55 yards passing already, 199 and a half pregame?
They shouldn't really throw much. 148 and a half.
163 and a half, which I find a little bit interesting that it's
a little
actually
tall.
Much lower than it was pregame. Michael Penix Jr., 80 passing yards so far, 311 and a hook.
It's too high.
Up by nearly 20 yards from where it was before this game got underway.
It's a great job by the books protecting themselves there, because Penix is an obvious look here. Should be plenty of throwing here. If Washington gets 2 possessions by chance with the time remaining, those are only pass plays on a second possession.
So we're not in time as Washington is back on the football field. I was going to say, expecting the Huskies to throw a lot here as they will start from their own 20-yard line after the touchdown on the punt, or touchback on the punt, to target maybe every Washington wide receiver to catch a pass on this drive. But
I see what you're saying.
Now locked. Oh, there it is.
Oh, boy.
I lost that
sack that Washington has allowed in the college football playoff, and that pretty much probably takes Michael Penix Jr. back in a negative yardage from the rushing yards component.
Probably?
Yeah.
He lost about 20 yards on that
Did he have
play.
2 carries so far in this game, or only 1 for 5?
1 for 5.
1 for 5.
Sorry for my face.
No. I for some reason I heard Joe say he get another 1 for 5 yards.
You know what I always mess up? Every time a big sack in college football happens, I literally feels like it's about 20 yards worth of sack yardage, and they'll pop it back up and it'll be 2nd and 17.
Yeah, that was
2nd and 20.
That was a 12-yard loss on that play.
But I would have took over 12 and a half yards if they would have said how many yards did he just lose there.
Washington has only allowed now 12 sacks all year, 11 entering this football game, 0 in the Sugar Bowl, and they got more pressure on Penix Jr. right there. Caleb McMillan diving to the ground, incomplete.
That would have been a nice pickup of a round.
3rd and 22, and now that live number, Kev, is up to 16 and a half in favor of the Maize and Blue. Live total 57 and a half.
And a great job by you giving us the numbers, because what that indicates is a punt and a short field for the Wolverines.
Yep.
Big time.
3rd and 22 here. Joe, how aggressive are you if you're Washington?
Again, you just want to get it out. I want to get it out after.
So you like a draw here?
Yeah, you need.
Yeah, draw. You want to get it. You don't want to punt from this area. That means Michigan positive field position at the worst. They're 45.
Very rarely do I hear. Now, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but rarely do we hear you
22, 30.
I hear you.
They're throwing the football.
But the conservative option is not usually your
Is that
MO.
Dylan Johnson?
It is Dylan Johnson.
Ooh, running with a purpose at the end of that play.
Absolutely so. I don't think he had receiving props.
No, he did not.
4th and short here. Washington punts. Wolverines with about 8 minutes left will get a chance to score before half. We'll be right back.
We've got new sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix Jr. over 309 and a half.
Let's shop around. Let's get active, and let's get the best of the numbers here, Joe.
I believe if Michigan in this ball game can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ball game.
National championship is set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms tonight. This is it.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back,
The irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time. Only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're live and in the mix on CFT Live. Kevin Walsh, Ben Stevens, Joe Lisi. I'm loving this game. I'm not. Quick sidebar. It might be better that Bama and Texas didn't make this game. That's not true. I'm just trying to tell myself that.
It could be free flowing though.
I'm very calm right now because I think the Donovan Edwards prop hit, and that helped a lot.
Also, how calm would you be if this game was like 24 up? You wouldn't be.
Probably not. No,
Right,
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. This game was everything through the Rizzler, but it's all Corum and Rome, and yeah, it's a good point. No, it's a good point.
It is. It's going just the way you want. And I mean, field goals, you could still get it if Washington has to score the rest of the game.
I mean, every bet that I have tied right now is the opposite of how this game flow is happening in the national championship game.
Well, what happened?
I need a Washington touchdown before the half is over.
You do. 1+ touchdown, 1+.
Can we get Penix?
Each half, 16-1. Can we get this?
Cover that 14.5 point spread.
Can I just tell you this?
Yeah.
It's a timeout, by the way, on the field.
But
this
why?
is where you are the greediest gambler in the world.
Why?
Because can I tell you why?
I have 2 legs of a 3-legger. All I need is Penix.
100%. No, I know that.
Right.
But Penix, the score was what?
Plus 560.
Okay. So all I'm saying is, like, hey, can I get a Washington touchdown?
Yeah.
Ben's just rooting in Washington plus 14.5.
Where it is.
Right.
The ball will be on the 25-yard line.
Right.
And you're like, can he run this in?
Why can't he? He's mobile. He's mobile.
Loot and scoot, baby.
Why not?
Listen,
Man to man, run it up.
But it is why I absolutely
Muhammad
love
went
you.
down, which is not good for that defense.
It will be 3rd and long, though, coming back out here. All of a sudden, they're finding a little success defensively.
Wait a second. They were because they're gambling, taking run blitzes. But when your top corner goes down because he has to tackle Blake Corum, look for a deep shot now out of McCarthy.
A deep shot, but how many? I'm not.
Well,
you never want an injury to a star.
I'm talking right now.
I got you. Oh, no, that's smart.
It's 3rd and 7.
That's very smart. I think I'm being dead serious. Yeah. Excellent with what you think these teams should do so far here today.
I mean, what you
very
have
straightforward.
Done, what you have done.
No, forget the Donovan
college
Edwards
football playoff. I mean, you're doing.
No, last week it was terrible. Michigan biased the whole way. Hated his breakdowns.
I mean.
Look, we are hitting a break here. We're back in less than a minute with you right here on SportsGrid.
smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in. It is college football. Today's live coverage of Michigan-Washington, the national championship game. Let's break right into it. A 3rd and 8 here with 5:40 remaining in the second quarter for the Michigan Wolverines offense that has a potential opportunity here, Joe, as you said, to take a deep shot with a star corner going out on the last play for Washington.
Yeah, it's Edwards up the middle, the workhorse, 4 yards. Wow. So
I love this.
This is
now
great.
what do you do if you're Jim Harbaugh and Sherrone
You
Moore?
go for it. That kicker was shaky.
Oh, I think
it's
not a field goal. I think it's a punt. I think it's a punt. If it's not going for it, it's a punt.
Yeah, he's going for it. There's no way. Come on, 4th and 3. That kicker was shaky.
No, offensive line coming off the field. This looks to be a punt, although J.J. McCarthy is kind of bewildered.
Oh.
Nope. Now,
wow, okay.
Jim, what do we got, Jim?
Could be a timeout. Might run the timeout
Now we're
play.
running down the – so they are going to punt.
It's a punt.
Folks.
That's good. That's not good.
Folks, I just would like to say.
I love Big Ten football.
I would just like
stop
but
with the Big
no,
Ten.
no, but let me see.
This is what I'm saying. I think this is even too passive-aggressive. This is a Kirk Ferentz play.
No, but see, let me
Punting from your opponent's 38-yard line on 4th and 3.
He loves this, which is fine, but
yeah.
But I tell you what, if you're
Big Ten,
can I just say something?
No. See,
let me just, if you want to take a shot on Washington, you do it now.
I agree with that.
Plus 680.
But I'm worried McCarthy's going to run back out here.
Yeah, I think so as well.
With that said,
You still do it now.
are.
You still do it
They
now.
certainly are.
You still do it now.
No.
Because if they stop him, then you're not going to get the value.
I'll take that. Because I don't think they stop him.
How could you think they stop him at this point, honestly?
Well, I mean, 200.
I mean, Michigan is averaging still.
Sorry, let me cut you off quick.
Please.
Radio audience is with us here on SportsGrid across the network, including Sirius XM, Channel 159, Michigan, Washington, the national championship game coverage here from the College Football Today crew. A critical 4th and 3 decision here by the Wolverines, initially sending out the punt team, but decided to walk that back, took a timeout, and now will go for it. They are inside Washington territory, but only a little bit past midfield.
Keep an eye out for Corum coming out of the backfield. That was the 4th down and 2 play they did with Bama.
It absolutely was.
You have a Michigan team right now that already has 204 rushing yards as a unit in this opening half, averaging 12.8 yards per carry. This was the right decision by Jim Harbaugh and Sherrone Moore.
Maybe McCarthy runs it if it's not there, too. They're playing man-to-man coverage on the top. Muhammad's back out there.
The RPO that we asked for on the 3rd down and 4 that they ultimately didn't decide to go with. I think that would work wonderfully.
They do snap it.
I got to tell you, folks.
That's a bad call. That's a bad call. They are allowing Washington back in this ball.
Washington money line before that snap.
I told you.
It was
I
plus
know
680.
that. Before
the snap, it was plus 680.
What is it
plus
now?
470.
I mean,
you said
over
you still like the value. It's not bad, $2 less, but
so they've run a very similar play on both of the interesting conversions on 3rd and short inside Washington's red zone, and right there on 4th and 3 from Washington territory inside the Huskies' 40-yard line, where they go short side of the field, out route first to Cornelius Johnson,
really
and then to Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
And really good defense both times by the Huskies.
Yeah, great point. And I'll just say this. The whole benefit of working off a play action is not to throw short to intermediate throws.
That's true.
It's if you're ripping off 15 yards per carry, and you have Muhammad and those corners inching up in run support, run blitzing, that is an opportunity. Not maybe on that particular play, but you still got to take a deep shot with a post pattern or something vertical.
You know,
the fact that they're going 5 yards right into the short side of the field,
it's a great call.
It's ridiculous.
If they would have come out in a heavy formation, you really want to throw the ball there? They would have sold out.
Look at this.
Washington.
They
now
got a little tempo. Come on,
45 of
you
Michigan.
had Jack West over what number?
29.5.
Good call. A huge part of that Sugar Bowl.
About 4 minutes to go here.
So now we're getting under 4 minutes here. I have a Washington live first half number. Huskies plus 14.5. Heavily juiced at minus 146. Still running the football with Dylan Johnson. Does not nearly seem even probably 90%. but gutting it out there and picking up a couple of yards per
Got to
play.
do it, though. I don't think they want to give the ball back to Michigan, right? So you want to go in 17, at the best, 17-10, worst situation. You got to take the 3 if it's there, too.
You want the football to be in your hands on the final possession of this opening half and to start off the second half, as the Huskies will get the kick to begin the final 2 quarters. So the clock is in your way right now.
Look at this.
We're trying to eat as much time as possible.
Oh, it's there.
And
Give
they
him a block.
Oh, my God. Get upfield, big man. Come on now.
2nd and 8, Ramadanze on a screen pass.
Listen,
it was there.
They're taking the underneath stuff right now as Michigan is still dropping deep, and they are going to eat clock using these as run plays. Rome ran into his offensive lineman who couldn't get out in time to be another lead blocker for him. Rome Odunze, at the moment, is Washington's leading receiver, more than 30 yards now, I would assume.
Yep. Yes. And what did he say?
34.
86.5 was his number, right?
Mm-hmm. Pre-game 88.5, and then
look at this. Weston, go get up the field, big guy.
There you go.
Should be another first down there for Washington.
Now I think, okay, again, you're trying to score here, right? And for you, Kev, you need a Washington touchdown to keep the 1 field goal, 1 touchdown in each half for both teams.
Yeah.
16-1.
Yeah.
When you said that, I couldn't believe the odds were as long as they were.
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
The first time we ever came across that bet was Donnie and I doing an old episode of In Play Sports Tonight. Bills-Titans, Monday Night Football, and it came in.
Yeah.
And the idea was, oh, my gosh, what does this win every game?
Oh, goodness.
And I don't think I've ever been able to get it to come in since.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that it seems simple, but, and again, imagine I told the losing leg in the first half is Washington touchdown, right? So, but we'll see here. It's a 2nd and 10 for the Huskies. And I think, look, one of the main things for this team now is the feeling that they're going to allow – no, I think actually it's not even somehow getting points. It's that Michigan won't get points most likely within this half.
No, I'm saying Washington's guaranteed.
Oh,
you would think at least 6, right? Or 3.
You're trying to get a touchdown here, obviously, make it a single-score game as you get into the half. But to your point, Joe, as Kev just alluded to, this, you hope, is the final offensive possession of the opening half. 2 minutes and 17 seconds remain in the second quarter here before that halftime break.
Oh.
Stumble of something on the outside.
Very
An
interesting.
incomplete pass there for the Huskies. But again, Washington receives that opening kick to start the second half. It's now 3rd and long once again for Washington. This would be, Rome Odunze tripping on the outside.
Yeah.
A little bit of that turf monster in Houston. This would probably be, where are they on the yard?
23?
26? Yeah, something like that. We're
First
talking
down.
less than a 45-yard field goal, but still nothing that is obviously a gimme or a chip shot here. Yeah, on the 23-yard line of Michigan here, just over 2 minutes remaining here in this opening half.
Keep an eye out for Penix here. You gotta get positive. I'm serious for the first down.
I
understand.
I understand.
Look at now.
There's a flag.
Pass interference there does come in against the Michigan Wolverines. It was Jalen McMillan on the target there. And why that's so important, I would expect a first down run here from Washington. Because they were getting very close to having to settle for 3.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're Michigan, now I'm not saying they're going to drop J.J. back and let him fire and rip it. But again, with the way the rush attack has been, you could still go and find yourself a field goal or something of the nature
Absolutely.
Here. So Washington now really should be able to finish this half out with a score. This could be a 1-possession game with Washington starting the second half with football. We continue our live coverage on SportsGrid after this quick break.
New sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix to over 309.5.
Let's shop around. Let's get active and let's get the best of the numbers here. So
I believe if Michigan in this ball game can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ball game.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms today. This is it.
this is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back,
the irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We were due to miss one. CFT live here for the national championship game. On 3rd and goal at around the 5-6 yard line, Michael Penix on a quarterback power is stopped short. And on 4th and goal at the 3, they go for it. And they end up getting it. Michael Penix extends the play a little bit. They find Jalen McMillan in the back of the end zone here. The extra point is up and in. It is 17-10. I think I can say confidently cash the plus 14.5 first half wager.
Yes.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
McMillan, anytime touchdown score is a winner. Washington first team touchdown score would be a winner as well. I want to let everybody know your halftime coverage tonight, you are so lucky, will be handled by Mike Carver and Scott Farrell. The big guns step up and in to break down halftime here. In 10 minutes time, we will close out the half and take you through the remainder of this breakdown here. Quickly, Ben, give me the live odds for this game.
A 6.5-point spread in favor of Michigan. Minus 138 if you want to cover the live number as of this moment with the maize and blue. Minus 350 money line is that live number for the Wolverines. Plus 255 now on the other side for the Huskies. That live total right around the pregame number. 54.5 is that over-under. 42 seconds remaining in this opening half. Michigan did call all 3 of its timeouts, or its final 2 timeouts, I should say, when Washington had that football into their own red area to have a chance to score and get some points here at the end of this opening half. And for the first time tonight, by the way, a touchback for Michigan. The previous 2 kickoffs, they have returned it and have not gotten past the 15-yard line.
I'll just say this, and credit Washington for making plays offensively, but I sort of give a little negativity to the coaching staff of Michigan. They had a 1st and 10 on their own 46-yard line. They were up, 14-3 in terms of that situation. Yep. They put the ball in
17-3.
17-3, excuse me, into J.J. McCarthy's hands, and they negated the rushing attack, right? He's thrown it now, I believe, 5 times, and they've only rushed it 2. That was an opportunity to really wear down Washington, potentially bleed the clock and take more time and maybe extend the lead. And they played right into Washington's hands and allowed them, from an offensive perspective, back into this ball game.
Sure.
That's the turning point right now, because the rushing attack, it's not like they had inconsistent. They just didn't go back to it.
I think we would all agree our issue.
That is a great
gorgeous
tackle
piece
on
of
the
tackling
boundary right there by Washington because Michigan has no timeouts. Under 25 seconds remaining here.
Approaching midfield.
Yeah.
At midfield, in fact.
20 seconds left.
That clock is ticking. Looks as though
I don't trust this kicker, though. Both kickers have looked suspect.
I will say
4 points for Grady Gross.
We'll love to see that for you. So a field goal away.
A field goal away.
That's all you need. Or 3 touchdowns.
But Joe, just to pick up on what you're saying, none of us here thought the decision to go for it by Michigan was bad.
No, but
play call.
No,
The
it was
play call
the play call
was atrocious.
Yeah.
But not
And that's
just on the
twice.
I'm talking first and second downs.
Sure.
I'm talking when they had Donovan Edwards for a no gain, and then they went back to the passing attack.
Sure.
Why? Why? You have a beaten down defense that's
Yeah.
given up 14 yards per carry. Let them show you that they could stop the run.
Now they're punting.
You don't give them the opportunity to breathe and get back and have life. The coaching decisions are atrocious from after they've jumped up.
This is still a Michigan team that has run the football 17 times in these first 2 quarters for 209 total yards.
Are they going here?
It is averaging 12.3
Yeah, I mean,
yards
there's
per
12
carry.
seconds. Where are they?
I don't know. You would give the football back to Michael Penix
With
Jr.
a timeout.
With a timeout to set up into field goal range. This is one that I would
Punt.
punt away
Where
if I
are
were
they?
Jim Harbaugh.
They're on the 46.
They're on their own territory. They're in negative territory.
I
right
don't think
now.
they are.
They're not past midfield.
I thought they were at exactly midfield.
No, I think they're at their own 44, 46 yards.
Hold on, let me see. I should have it right here. It was on the ESPN.
They just took a delay again.
They're at Washington's 49, so they're punting.
50. Yeah.
Okay, so they just took a delay.
So you would have hated going for it?
For sure. You have a timeout with Michael Penix Jr. It was also 4th and long. It wasn't 4th and 2.
It was 4th and 3.
It was 4th and 3. Excuse me. You give the football back to Michael Penix Jr. with a timeout. You can use all the field, try to either set up a Hail Mary type play, which you could do without moving the football, or if you pick up 15 yards, set up Grady Gross. I would have loved it for my over 6.5 points for Washington's kicker.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is the right decision by Michigan. So no, they're on their own 40.
No, they took
They took-
Oh yeah.
the delay game.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Washington's been in this spot before. I'm not saying Michigan hasn't, but one time, right?
That's a great
punt. Against Ohio State. You could say Penn State, but there was no threat of a passing attack. This is right where they want. I'm not saying right where they want to be, but they have the ball coming out of half. They got to feel confident.
Oh,
I want to see the halftime adjustments that Harbaugh makes.
Completely different football game right now.
So I want to say this, though, with McCarthy. He's 5 for 11 for 81 yards. However, 1 for 37 on that play to Roman Wilson.
And that's it.
So that would be 4 for 10 for 24 yards.
Yeah. 6 yards a pop.
I mean,
short teams.
And that's, by the way, but that's yards per completed pass.
Right.
That's what, 2.4 or 4.4 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
Yes.
In that respect, outside of now again, the play happened, but the point is, and this is what's been very stunning here, as this is going to end halftime. Michigan covers the first half number. First half does go under the listed total. The fact that we are watching this game, and Michigan's run attack has been this good, and this is a run-first football team, true and true. It's working so well. We know they're a bit conservative. And in this spot, they've thought, you know what, this is where we need to give it to JJ.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's been baffling decision-making.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to turn it over to JJ, I don't have any problem after halftime, right? Because they're expecting to stop the run. You come out, you utilize JJ. Not in the second quarter when you have positive field position and you're up 17-3. That's where the killer instinct has to take over and say, you know what, we're going to play bully ball. We believe we have the better offensive line. Stop us.
Yeah.
And I would run it in terms of that situation. And granted, if they were shutting down the run, then that's a different story. They haven't stopped the run all first half.
You know what's fascinating, too? On that 4th and 2, 4th and 3 from Washington territory on the Huskies' 38-yard line. It was a 6-play drive that accumulated 29 yards, just over 3 minutes of time of possession that they turned over on downs. The first 5 plays, all on the ground for, if I do the quick mental math here, over 30 yards. And then you had that pass incomplete to Roman Wilson on 4th and 2. 4th and short, and you take it out of what has been your best offensive success all night. 17 carries for Michigan as a team in the opening half for 209 yards.
Quorum and Edwards have as many rush attempts as McCarthy has pass attempts. And I understand that now JJ tacked on right there heading into half. That is really, really bad. Again, your halftime coverage will come to you live from both Scott Farrell and Mike Carver, so do not go anywhere as they will pick it up at 9:25 right here on SportsGrid after a break that is approaching. As far as the live spread goes at 6.5, I think you have missed out on incredible Washington numbers that we talked about a lot. It's a hard sell now. You could talk me to your money line wagers, understandably as well, but I'm not running to grab Michigan 6.5. As far as the total goes, I'd rather your guys' opinion because as an underbetter, I love everything I've seen. I actually think it only gets worse as the game goes on. Every JJ pass attempt where Michigan is not trailing would make zero sense to me.
In a weird way, although this game looked as it could be a blowout early, Michigan dominant on the ground, we're about where we would expect to be by those pregame numbers. I think it's pretty fair. I don't think you're getting value by going over 54.5 just because it's down by a point or two from that pregame number.
Yeah. What do you think of the live total?
I still lean to the under because I'm playing it out 17 up. I'm just saying, worst scenario.
Yeah.
17 up. Does Michigan go back to the well and run it? Yeah, that's the thing. And then they
It's
go
their
back to
offensive
the
success.
Right. Here's the thing. This is the exact similar situation against Alabama, right? Halftime lead, allowed it to slip, and then they had to rely on JJ. You don't want to do it against this guy.
No, you have to continue to run the football. I think Penix is 13 for 21, 128 yards, 6.1 yards per pass attempt. We will be back for the start of the second half. Scott Farrell, Mike Carver, halftime coverage of the national championship game is next.
New sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. We're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix to over 309.5.
Let's shop around. Let's get active, and let's get the best of the numbers here. So
I believe if Michigan in this ball game can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ball game.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms today. This is it.
this is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony. I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's get right to it, folks. Here we are back with CFT's live coverage of the national championship game. I want to thank both Scott Farrell and Mike Carver for holding it down during halftime. Excellent stuff from the crew. Great job behind the scenes getting us back here and ready to rock for the start of the second half. We missed one play. What do you know? It's an interception. Michael Penix Jr. picked off an excellent play by, I believe, Will Johnson, number 2, the defensive back for the Michigan Wolverines. Now, the pass was a bit atrocious, nearly broken up by the intended target for Washington, but instead an incredible play at 2nd and 7. Here's the thing, though, folks. We are kind of playing a little bit of everything's going crazy. As much as I want to break into this Michigan drive, Lisi and, Corum is out of a cannon inside the 15. Penix holding the ankle after that interception.
Yeah, he got stepped on by his offensive lineman, and I think that's what led to maybe the bad throw. But, you know, that'll affect his rushing props. How could he push off?
Yeah.
Again, I mean, you talk about positivity. Michigan's offense did not have it basically in their last 3 drives.
It's true.
Now they're running downhill again. So this is a complete recap and it looks like the first half all over again.
Yeah.
They jump up 2 scores. What do you do if you're in Washington? You got to pass the whole rest of the way.
I mean,
we should look to Washington receiving props.
Well, they're not going to be posted. Forget whether we should or not if Penix is injured.
Correct.
Now, that's doomsday, right? He's a tough kid, no doubt. Yeah. But if there's any snaps without Penix, is a disaster.
No, that is a disastrous start for Washington. We gave them their flowers. We gave them congratulations and accolades to end out the half by scoring their first touchdown of this national championship tilt, to then get the football back to start the second half only down by a single score. And let's remember what that halftime line was. 6.5 when we were here. It worked up to 7.5. If you wanted the Huskies covering at the break, you needed to pay for that hook. It is 14.5 as Michigan now has it inside Washington's red area. However, it is going to be third or second down.
Second and 14.
Second and 14 coming up after a penalty on Michigan and a short gain for Blake Corum. But that's a disaster start. You have the football back. You're down by a single score. You can go get points to start this second half in what felt like a football game finally in the national championship at the break. For Michael Penix Jr. to try to throw one out of bounds to be intercepted by
I'd run it with Donovan.
I was just going to say that. Right? You know, do they, again, the penalties.
Sloppy.
So now there goes the – I would still run it on this play. And then third down.
Screen pass, which would be better for you.
If they do the screen pass, second down.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would do a screen
pass.
Get
them out in space.
Right.
So think about what J.J. McCarthy, though, has brought to this football game. 5 of 11 in the opening half, and really 37 yards of his passing total in that opening half, going all to Roman Wilson. A couple of completions for Cornelius Johnson, a big play to Colston Loveland to start off their final drive under 45 seconds left in that second quarter before the halftime break. They're going to let J.J. throw, and that ball appears to be batted down at the offensive line and then picked around a little bit, but the referee is going to rule incomplete. So that's really interesting, though. Now Michigan behind the sticks, third and super long here for the Wolverines. You try to get some yards and then make it a better field goal attempt, I think, for James Turner.
Again, if you want to back Washington, do it on this play. I hate to say it, but it's 3rd and 18. If they get off on 4th and 18, you're not going to get the value.
And
you got to sort of jump the gun. You got to.
Right. I agree with you on the jump the gun, because if they score a touchdown, you know what? You're probably dead anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Kid might miss the field goal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That, you know, figure if you're Michigan, you want a 4th and 7.
Yeah.
That's again, every throw, though. I'll tell you this. I'm not saying it happens, but if Washington somehow, some way ties this game up, this passing attack, the way they're going right now, atrocious. Outside that one throw to Roman Wilson, every throw, short to intermediate, they're not going to go. I mean,
okay,
this is bad right now for them. I know you love it.
No, to be honest, you know what's so weird right now? The way the game is playing out, I know like the numbers right around it.
This kid looks.
I feel very calm with the total.
Yeah.
That play, this is no gimmick, no bit. I know I talk to you about the route all the time, Joe. It's a big 38-yard field goal, admittedly here, that will be up and in.
All right.
But so that play, right? He kept his head to the left the entire time.
Didn't look right.
Hold on. They ran underneath routes. You know what was coming along? And if he would have just turned his head?
Donovan?
Texas route. He ran the Texas route that I ask you about all the time. But Donovan, I tell you, didn't even run it all that hard. It's like he knew that he wasn't going to see the football there. Donovan Edwards is averaging 30 yards a touch.
Yeah.
You can't have 3 touches. You just can't have 3 touches if you're Donovan Edwards here. Ultimately, though, the field goal is up and in. I'm going to pull up the live odds here.
What do you think Aduze's at? Probably what?
So that's
we got to see if
Penix
Penix comes out.
That's what I'm looking at right now. And you know that I like to attack the 8th drive, first play
10.5
for Washington. 10.5 the live number.
54.5
plus 120 for a completed pass. It's the shortest price for Washington's first play from the line of scrimmage.
I like the run.
Rush for 1+ yard at 2-1.
I think the run. The Boars ran the football quite a bit here. What's the run for a negative yards?
Plus 590. I'm going to do a run for 1+ yard for Washington. First play on this 8th offensive possession for the Huskies, because I like to look there as well. And, Kev, to your point about the total, 20-10, 30 points, a little more than 3 minutes gone here in this second half. 54.5 is that live over-under, where the under has the juice. So we're down by a point, 2 points, depending on where you got that closing total for tonight's national championship game. And we're not expecting all that much more offense. 30 points right now. We would need at least 4 scores, more than likely. You would need 4 scores in this football game unless we see 3 touchdowns and 3 completed or converted 2-point attempts there at 54.5. So 3 more scores in the final 27+ minutes of this football game.
5-1 on Washington right now.
Yeah.
It was 11.5. It's down to 10.
Well, let's say this. Again, the Michigan run attack deserves a lot of credit, but they haven't put together a true drive in this game.
4 drives.
But
that's what I'm saying. Since they jumped up 17-3, it's been basically 4 drives. Right? 3 in the first half and this one.
Look at their score. Their scoring drives. 41-yard touchdown run, 46-yard touchdown run, 59-yard touchdown that ultimately they had to settle for a field goal.
Yeah.
Turnover, they went negative yardage and settled for a field goal. Now, the run attack is going to be there. But they actually this season have not been as good at hitting home runs as they were last year. It's part of the reason why you were seeing all these depressed Donovan Edwards numbers. To your point here, and again, which is why, and it's early, I guess, too, why I'm not unbelievably stressed on this total.
No, because
Michigan's offense is not scary right now despite the lead.
Yeah, because now there's no chunk plays, right? 2 chunk plays by Edwards and 1 by Corum. They also had the 1 to Roman Wilson. Those are, I believe, all first quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there hasn't been any from the second quarter on. And that's a cause of concern.
Here's where J.J. McCarthy stands at this moment. 6 of 13 for 85 yards, 37 on 1 chunk play to Roman Wilson. To your point about Michael Penix Jr., his live passing yards prop as we got to the commercial break was locked. He is on the sideline walking around, helmet not on at the moment, as Washington is about to receive the ensuing kickoff. And those odds, by the way, plus 150 is what that first play of this next offensive possession for Washington ended up being, down from 2-1 to plus 150 for a 1-yard run.
He's out there.
A couple of things, by the way, did hit on that. Michael Penix Jr. to throw an interception, heavily juiced pregame at minus 200. That play does come through. Blake Corum with the big rush to start that offensive possession for the Wolverines. 11 carries now for 102 yards, averaging 9.3 yards per prop.
A lot of 100-plus bettors out there.
A lot of 100-plus better. It was 102.5 for most of the week. It steamed up to 106.5. And, yeah, that's the first leg of our producer play. Jack Cornwell.
All right, here we need a run play here, Lisi.
We do.
For Ben.
We do.
For Ben.
You need a run. Run it. Run it. There it is.
There it is. Get a yard. Yeah, baby.
All right.
Come on.
Everybody.
Come on. That's the fun of betting that first offensive play right there. Dylan Johnson, way to do it, young boy.
He bet the first play of the drive to be a run. About 2-1 plus 150.
2-1. No, 2-1, but it moved down to plus 150 before we got back.
Well, they heard us chatting about it.
Sharp handicapper.
There you go.
Well, that was nice. And it was a nice run, by the way. It did pick up 4 yards. So that obviously was beneficial there for Washington.
That's a bad play.
I like it.
All right. I didn't like it.
So again, I know you like aggressiveness and whatnot. The screen passes have worked today.
All day.
They haven't used a lot of them, though.
No.
So that's something all of a sudden, if you're Kalen DeBoer, you got to put in the front of your mind here. Some of that stuff is out there and available. It's the McMillan area as well.
Turns clock.
Sure.
We are coming up against the break. We're going to miss a portion of this Washington drive, but hopefully no scoring action, as we will be back with you right here, continuing to follow the national championship game on SportsGrid.
got new sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
My best bet is Michael Penix to over 309.5.
Let's shop around. Let's get active, and let's get the best of the numbers here. So
I believe if Michigan in this ball game can run the football, work off of play action, they can move the football, put up points. Does fall on McCarthy, but I like Michigan's chances in this ball game.
National championship set. Washington against Michigan.
Brothers in arms today. This is it.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been for a day of work in my entire life.
That tells you how good this league is. Jeff, you're mine. Big 12. Who's the team to beat?
Well, it's always Kansas. I don't care who comes in the league. And I love Kelvin Sampson, what he's done at Houston. I don't care. So Marquette, to me, is the best backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the best point guard. Cam Jones is an elite scorer who just plays with such a good pace, and he's so smart.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back,
the irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Yay, congratulations, but the game was over at that point, so another one of those terrible beats. If you had 3.5, 4, even 4.5, this was a 10-point game until the final closing seconds.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, the only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
You know what, guys? This is the best night of my life. I mean, I'm having the time of my life here. We're live.
Hey, let's get a clap, huh? Come on!
Why not,
Now,
everybody?
Let's just say you're not going second screen experience, and in fact, you're going two screens both on this show, okay? Yeah. And you're saying, what would have Ben Stevens leading that type of clap? It's a special teams play.
It is.
Tell him.
It is Grady Gross converting on his second field goal of this football game. 7 total points for Washington's place kicker. A walk-on to begin this 2023 college football season. He's got 7 points in a national championship game. We cashed the bet. That's why you bet kicker props when they are available. Washington cuts into Michigan's lead, now 20-13.
Man, imagine that Iowa ever made a national championship game and they posted punter props.
Oh, guys! It happened here. Hey, guys, this monitor too close. I'm glad it happened to him.
Who put that there? Who put that there?
See what special teams does to me.
Now.
You started the 30 for 30 breakdown on Grady Gross.
College football today.
Kid came from the
how can you not be romantic?
He came from
in the middle of the game.
He came from the cornfields down in Iowa.
I'll tell you this, as someone who has the under, a touchdown from each of these teams in this half, 16-1 go for the loot.
Come on, man. You already hit your go for the loot.
Even better.
Yes. If I could get a
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't. He's so
I
greedy.
put the Edwards receiving the going for the loot. The kid's versatile. The
him
kid is versatile.
a little bit of anything.
Oh, God!
We're back.
We're doing well tonight. Let's go. A little.
I mean, it feels like you're just picking him off right now.
I mean, I
shooting
feel good.
fish in a barrel. This
I
kid.
feel good.
I mean,
Listen, I know Donovan Edwards all
play card. I mean, his props. I mean, his card segment. I know neither of us listen that much when he does it. The kid was going for ages.
There's a story.
I thought he was going to throw it back to us. It's true.
I listen to every word.
No, but I got to find a couple true holidays. Guys, we are back in less than a minute. CFT Live, Michigan football.